miracles. Yes, it is right now, this moment, a brand new series that I want to bring to you with you. And it is called Coffee and Crime. And yes, I'm almost out of coffee, but I do have my wonderful love right next to me. And I have been fascinated with true crime, anything, documentaries, books, since I was in junior high. So this has been a long-lasting love for me. I love HBO. I really miss it. I think their documentaries are so good. The documentary was called There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane. And I do have notes on the side, so if I'm looking off in the distance, I want to make sure I get everything down, the facts down. Where I received all of this information was police reports, Wikipedia, the documentary that I just spoke of, and some on YouTube, just like news reports and stuff like that. So we're going to get into it. Grab your coffee. I should have refilled. And let's just go ahead. And this is my first episode of Coffee and Crime. So on July 26th, 2009, 36-year-old Diane Schuler with her husband, her 5-year-old son, Brian, her 2-year-old daughter, Erin, and then Diane's 3 nieces, 8-year-old Emma Hance, 7-year-old Allison Hance, and 5-year-old Kate Hance, went camping for that weekend. And on that day, it was time to go home. Now, this campground, Hunter Lake Campground, is in upstate New York. I think it's Parksville, New York. And Diane and Daniel had been to this campground numerous times, so they knew their way to and from home and this campground. So they left, like I said, they left at the same time. And while heading home, Diane stopped at a McDonald's for her and the kids for breakfast. And this was in Liberty, New York. After McDonald's, she had stopped at a Sunco gas station. And there is actual footage of her pulling up in the borrowed Ford Windstar minivan, and she borrowed this from her brother, just because there was quite a bit of kids and all they had was the truck, so that was borrowed. And the footage shows her pulling up to a gas pump at Sunco gas station, getting out of her vehicle, and going into the gas station. And she seems fine. She walks in and she walks to the end of a long counter and kind of looks around, turns around, and then stops at where like the clerk would be, and doing a little bit of research, she had asked for an over-the-counter pain medication, and according to her husband, she had a really bad toothache. And that's just assuming that that's what she wanted the pain medicine for. They did not have it, so she just went back out into the minivan, got into the minivan and turned around and headed away and started heading back home. So during this drive, Diane's niece, Emma, 8-year-old Emma, had called her father and said that they were going to arrive around 1 o'clock. Later, Diane's brother's wife, Jackie, said she had just gotten off the phone with Diane and there was something wrong with her. She wasn't acting right, and that she could hear the kids crying in the background. So of course, my child is crying, so I'm gonna call personally and find out. So Diane's brother called Diane, and he said that she seemed very disoriented. It was hard for her to communicate, and that she kept calling him Danny, which, from my assumption, she thinking that she was talking to her husband. So he just stated that she wasn't herself. So he said, "Put Emma on the phone and let me talk to her." Emma said that they were okay and that they had pulled over and stopped. And he said, "Okay, stay there, look around, and do you see any signs? Because I'm going to come and try to find out what's going on." His daughter said that there was a sign for Sleepy Hollow and Tarrytown. He said, "Stay there. I'm coming to get you guys." It's, okay. So he then called his father to ride with him. So when they found Diane and the children, they could just this is just my assumption, they could get her out of the vehicle, put her in the passenger seat, let her find out what's going on with her, and then drive the van back home. He also contacted the Sleepy Hollow and Tarrytown police, explaining the situation. He then found 2 troopers, explained the situation again, and continued to look for Diane and the children. After all of this, contacting the police, the troopers, telling them to stay put, Diane was found going northbound on a southbound parkway for nearly 2 miles. And there was a lot of witnesses that I, just kind of read through. And from what I've read in the documentary, it said that she was not swerving. She was just head on, just going straight, just looking straight ahead. And of course, the unthinkable happens, and she crashes head on into an oncoming SUV, killing herself and 7 others total. There was a 74-year-old, an 81-year-old, a 49-year-old that was involved and eventually, or possibly instantly, passed away. So what happened? What was going on? The thing that goes through my mind is these children, like, I can't even imagine the intense horror that they were going through, knowing that there was just something wrong with Aunt Diane. So the aftermath of this, 9 days after this deadly crash, Diane's toxicology report revealed a blood alcohol level of 0.19%, which equals 10 drinks, more than twice the legal limit. Also, there were 6 grams of alcohol in her stomach that had not been absorbed into her blood yet. So what was she like? And when they had investigated inside the van, they found an Absolute vodka bottle. Also, her blood level had THC, excuse me, which is the active ingredient in marijuana. It also stated that she could have smoked the marijuana recently, as recently as 15 minutes before the crash. The interview that I want to talk to you about, and this is the interview with Diane's husband, Daniel. So on Friday, July 24th, 2009, while at the campsite, he stated that he drank a couple of beers and that Diane drank 2 strawberry daiquiris. So on Saturday, July 25th, Diane and Daniel took the children to a nearby amusement park. And then that night, the children went to bed at around 9:30, and then Daniel and Diane went to bed around 11:30, and he claims that she did not drink that night. The day of the deadly crash, July 26, 2009, Daniel said he woke up around 5 a.m., and then the children and Diane woke up around 8 a.m. Everyone left the campground between 9 and 10 a.m., and then there was no communication between Diane and Daniel after they left the campsite. It was stated or claimed that Diane had no history of substance abuse or psychological problems. It was said that she did smoke marijuana occasionally to relieve stress, and she was known to be a stable, loving mother and wife. So my biggest questions is, why did she choose to drink? Knowing that she was driving with a van full of children. She was known to be responsible. What happened? Like, what snapped in her that she decided to drink, knowing that she was taking a van full of children? She had been so responsible, according to the documentary and people that knew her. So we'll never know the exact reason why she chose to be so irresponsible and to kill these people. Brian, Daniel and Diane's 5-year-old son, survived, and he has some physical ailments due to this crash. So there's so many there's so many questions. Why did this have to happen? I don't understand why somebody drinks and drives. It's I can't fathom it. So this was a crime that was instantly solved. We knew who basically the killer was, and it's just sad for all the families involved, and innocent lives were taken because of stupidity, really. I don't know. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Do you have any questions that I did not answer? Did I hit the nail on the head? I don't know, but this story has been with me for many weeks, and I wanted to share this with you because it's just a fascinating story. And a terrible story. But that is it for my coffee and crime first episode of the series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Click that subscribe button. Watch a miracle happen. I'm Miracle Girl. Click the notification bell, guys. Keep up to date with me. Like this video. And I love you guys. And thank you so much for bearing with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye. Bye.